My girlfriend lied about having cancer to get me to fund her dream vacation. Please, just one last trip to Europe with you, she whispered. I sold my car, took out a loan, and quit my job for her bucket list adventure. Then I found her secret Instagram, living my best life. When she returned, I had a surprise. Every charge had been reported as fraud. I should have known something was off the moment Olivia started crying in the middle of the night. Real, heaving sobs. The kind that rattled your chest and left your pillow damp. I turned over, heart racing. Liv? What's wrong? She didn't answer at first. Just sniffled, wiped her nose on the sleeve of my hoodie. Finally, she whispered, "It's bad, baby. I didn't want to tell you like this." My gut clenched. "Tell me what?" She hesitated. Then, barely audible, the tests. The doctors. They found something. The air in the room turned heavy. Cold. What do you mean? My voice was already shaking. She curled into me, her face hidden in my chest. Stage 3. Maybe 4. The world tilted. Olivia had cancer. My girlfriend, the woman I had spent the last 3 years dreaming about a future with, was dying. I didn't cry. Not yet. I held her, feeling how small she was, how fragile. She kept whispering how scared she was, how she didn't want to go through chemo, how she didn't want to die in a hospital bed. "I just want one last adventure," she said, voice breaking. "Just one trip to Europe. With you." I didn't hesitate. I told her we'd go, no matter what it took. That night, I didn't sleep. My mind raced with numbers, bank statements, credit limits, anything that could get us there. By morning, I had a plan. I sold my car, liquidated my savings, even took out a personal loan. Then, the hardest part, I quit my job. Because how could I leave her to face this alone? We booked the tickets that same day. A 1-month cross-country trip through France, Italy, and Greece. Olivia smiled through her tears, whispering "thank you" over and over. And I believed every single one of those tears. The trip was beautiful at first. Too beautiful. The kind of beauty that felt like a fever dream. Unreal, too perfect, too much light for something born in darkness. We drank wine under the Eiffel Tower, walked the sun-drenched streets of Rome, swam in the crystal-clear waters of Santorini. And Olivia, she laughed. She danced. She looked alive. That should have made me happy. But there was something wrong. No doctor's calls. No check-ins. No symptoms. Her color never faded. She never got tired. No weight loss. No pain. I ignored the nagging voice in my head. Because what kind of monster doubts a dying woman? Until I saw it. Her phone, left unattended on the hotel nightstand. The screen lit up with a notification. Instagram at live.luxury, living my best life. I frowned. That wasn't her account. Olivia never used Instagram. Or so she told me. I picked up the phone, my fingers shaking. Opened the app. And there it was. Post after post. Cocktails in Paris, captioned, "Not a care in the world." Shopping sprees in Milan. Treating myself. Because I deserve it, money with wings, a selfie in Santorini. Sunglasses perched on her nose, lips curled into a smirk. I should fake terminal illness more often. Hashtag rich boyfriend, hashtag easy money. I stared at the screen, my pulse roaring in my ears. My hands trembled so hard I nearly dropped the phone. Fake. She faked it. The cancer. The tears. The one last trip plea. She played me. I felt sick. My entire body went cold, a slow, crawling numbness spreading through my veins. Every moment of the past few months replayed in my mind like a sick joke. The nights I held her while she cried. The sacrifices I made. The life I threw away for her. And she was laughing about it. A red-hot rage boiled inside me. I could barely breathe. I wanted to confront her. Scream. Throw the phone in her face. But no, that wasn't enough. She stole my life. I was gonna steal it back. So I put the phone down. Pretended I saw nothing. Smiled when she came back from shopping. Bags in her hands. Cheeks flushed from the sun. "Hey, babe," she said, pressing a kiss to my cheek. "You okay?" I nodded. Perfect, because I had a plan. And when Olivia got back home, she'd find out exactly what it felt like to lose everything. I spent the rest of the trip playing my role to perfection. Every morning, I kissed Olivia awake like I was still the same lovesick fool who had thrown away his entire life for her. I let her drag me through overpriced boutiques, let her pose for pictures in front of cathedrals, let her order the most expensive bottle of wine on the menu. Always on my tab, of course. And all the while, I was planning her downfall. She had no idea that every charge, every transaction, was being carefully documented. Every 5-star hotel stay, marked. Every designer purchase, logged. Every dinner she posted on her secret Instagram, captured. I had a plan, but I had to wait. Timing was everything. If I tipped my hand too soon, she'd slip away before I could burn her world to the ground. And I wanted her to feel it. We landed back home after a month of indulgence. Olivia stretched her arms, sighing like she was exhausted from living her best life. She glanced over at me as we stood by the baggage claim. "God, I'm gonna miss Europe, but at least I still have you." I smiled. "Yeah, you do. For now." That night, she fell asleep next to me, snuggled into my chest like nothing had changed. Like she hadn't gutted my trust, hollowed me out, and left me bleeding while she flaunted her easy money to strangers online. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, waiting. At exactly 3 a.m., I slipped out of bed, grabbed my phone, and made the call. Yes, I'd like to report fraudulent transactions on my account. By the time Olivia woke up, her perfect little world was already crumbling. Ding, ding, ding. Her phone wouldn't stop buzzing. I watched her sit up, groggy, rubbing her eyes as she squinted at the screen. Then, her face paled. She threw off the covers, practically leaping out of bed. What the hell? I stayed exactly where I was, arms folded behind my head. Something wrong. She didn't answer, just frantically tapped at her screen, scrolling. I already knew what she was seeing. Bank account, frozen. Credit cards, locked. Fraud claims, processed. Every single charge she made on my dime, reversed. The fancy hotels, gone. The luxury shopping sprees, vanished. The five-star dinners, the yacht rentals, the spa days, poof. Her little dream vacation had officially been labeled a scam. And now, she owed every cent back. She let out a sharp, panicked breath. There's a mistake. She glanced at me, forcing a laugh. Babe, my cards aren't working. In my bank, I sat up slowly, tilting my head. Huh, that's weird. Her fingers clenched around her phone. I need to call them. You should. She was already dialing. I watched as she paced the bedroom, voice shaking when the bank representative answered. Yes, hi. There's been some kind of error. My card isn't working, and… Wait, what? No, that's impossible. There was no fraud. The charges were mine. Hello. Hello. The line cut. Her bank account was frozen. Her name? Flagged for investigation. She turned to me, eyes wide. Ethan, this is crazy. I met her gaze, my expression calm. Yeah, crazy. And then, just to twist the knife a little deeper, I picked up my phone, opened Instagram, and scrolled to her secret account. The one she thought I never knew about. I tapped on one of her posts. The one with the Santorini selfie. I should fake terminal illness more often. Hashtag rich boyfriend, hashtag easy money. I turned the screen toward her. Her face was drained of all colors. Silence. A heavy, suffocating silence. Then you saw that. Oh, I saw everything, Olivia. Her lips parted, but no words came out. For the first time, she looked small. Trapped. Good. I leaned forward, my voice low and steady. You stole from me. Lied to me. Used me. And you thought you'd just walk away. She swallowed hard. Ethan, I stood up. Get out. She blinked. What? Pack your crap and get out. She let out a shaky laugh. Babe, let's just talk about this. You're upset. I get it, but we can work through. I took a step closer. There is no we. You killed it the second you scammed me. Her eyes darted to the door. I don't have anywhere to go. I shrugged. Not my problem. For the first time, I saw it. Fear. A flicker of pure, genuine fear in her expression. Not because she was sorry. Not because she regretted it. But because for the first time in her life, she wasn't winning. Her voice broke. Please. I shook my head. No. And with that, I walked away, leaving her standing in the wreckage of her own destruction. She didn't leave right away. At first, she just stood there, frozen, silent, staring at me like I just run a knife through her. Then, her breathing turned sharp and uneven. Anger flickered behind her eyes, replacing the fear. You're serious, she whispered. I folded my arms. Dead serious. She let out a humorless laugh, running a hand through her hair. Okay, fine. You're pissed. I get it. But Ethan, come on. You really think kicking me out is the answer? I raised an eyebrow. Yes. Her nostrils flared. You're acting like I killed someone. I clenched my jaw. You killed something, all right. Every bit of trust one had in you. A pause. The smallest flicker of something crossed her face. Not regret. No, Olivia didn't regret. But she was realizing, finally, that I wasn't playing. She sucked in a breath. I have nothing left. Good. I didn't say it. Just stared at her, unmoving. Then, slowly, her expression shifted. The panic drained away, replaced by something colder. She tilted her head. You know what? You're cruel. I let out a short laugh. That's rich, coming from you. She didn't flinch, just kept staring at me, her gaze calculating. I did what I had to do. I scoffed. You had to fake cancer? You had to scam me. I had to survive. My stomach twisted. Survive. That's what she called it. A luxury vacation on someone else's dime was survival to her. I shook my head. You're unbelievable. She sighed, her voice dropping into that soft, sweet tone she always used when she wanted something. Ethan, please. I love you. I almost laughed. No, you love what I gave you. She parted her lips, but no excuse came out. We stood there, staring at each other. Two people who had once shared everything. Now it's just two strangers in a room full of broken trust and empty words. She swallowed hard. So that's it. That's it. She exhaled sharply, then turned away. Started gathering her things. Not in a rush, not in a panic, just quiet. For the first time, Olivia didn't have the upper hand, and she knew it. It took her an hour to pack, an hour of silence. When she finally slung her bag over her shoulder, she turned to look at me one last time. "You'll regret this." I leaned against the doorframe. "No, but you will." She held my gaze for a moment longer. Then, with a final huff, she stormed out the door. I didn't move until I heard her car start, until I heard the tires screech as she sped off, disappearing into the night. Then, and only then, did I let out a breath I hadn't realized I was holding. I should have felt relieved. I should have felt some satisfaction. Instead, there was just emptiness, the kind that sank into my bones deep and cold. Because no matter how much she deserved this, no matter how much I wanted her gone, I couldn't shake the simple, painful truth. I had loved her, and she had never, ever loved me back. For the first few days, I felt like a ghost in my own life. The apartment was quieter, cleaner. No more discarded shopping bags. No more expensive perfume lingering in the air. No more Olivia draped across the couch, scrolling through her phone, laughing at things I wasn't part of. She was gone, and yet, she was everywhere. Every time I checked my phone, I half expected a text, a long, dramatic apology, a furious rant, something, but never came. Instead, I got a call from my bank. "Mr. Carter, we just wanted to update you. The fraud claims have been fully processed. The funds have been returned to your account." I let out a slow breath. "Thank you. One more thing," the banker continued. "The individual associated with the unauthorized transactions attempted to dispute the claims earlier today." I was tense. Of course she did. She said the charges were legitimate, but given the documentation you provided, her social media posts, the lack of medical records, we rejected her dispute. Her accounts remained frozen for further review. I couldn't help it. I smirked. She wasn't just broke. She was powerless. "I appreciate the update." "Absolutely. If anything changes, we'll let you know." I hung up and leaned back in my chair, exhaling. Olivia had tried to fight back, and she'd lost. For once in her life, there was no manipulation, no crocodile tears, no last-minute, sweet-talking escape. She was finally paying for what she did. Or so I thought. That night, I got the first message. "Olivia, you have no idea what you've done." I stared at my screen. No apology. No remorse. Just blame. I didn't reply. The next day, another text. "Olivia, you ruined me. You think you're the good guy? You're a fucking joke. Asterisk." Then a voicemail. Her voice was tight, shaking. "You're going to regret this, Ethan. You don't just get to humiliate me and walk away." I clenched my jaw. Humiliate her? She had scammed me out of everything. Lied to my face for months. And now, she was acting like the victim? I should have blocked her. But part of me needed to see what she'd do next. Because Olivia, she wasn't the type to go down quietly. The break-in happened 3 days later. I came home late, grocery bags in hand, only to find the door unlocked. My stomach dropped. I pushed it open, stepping inside. The place was trashed. Drawers yanked open. Cabinets emptied. My laptop? Gone. Panic shot through me. I checked my safe, the one I kept hidden in my closet. The lock had been forced open. Cash? Gone. Personal documents? Scattered on the floor. And there, sitting on the coffee table, was a single, crumpled note. "I told you you'd regret it." My hands curled into fists. Olivia. She did this. I felt it. A slow, burning fury rising in my chest. She wasn't just angry. She was coming for me. And now, I had no choice but to fight back. I stood in the wreckage of my own home, breathing hard. My pulse pounded in my ears, drowning out the silence. Olivia had done this. She had slithered back into my life like the parasite she was, tearing through what little I had left. And I let her. I let her walk away that night without consequences. I let her send those texts, leave those voicemails. I let her feel like she still had control. That ended now. I pulled out my phone and dialed. 911. A crisp voice answered. "What's your emergency?" I swallowed, steadying my voice. My apartment was broken into. I have reason to believe I know who did it. By the time the police arrived, I had already pieced together everything they needed. The bank records, the social media posts, the fraudulent medical claims she'd made. And now, breaking and entering. Theft. They took one look at the state of my apartment and nodded. "We'll put out a warrant." I almost felt bad. Almost. But then I remembered the months I spent thinking Olivia was dying. The sleepless nights, the panic, the sacrifices. The moment I found her Instagram post, mocking me while she sipped champagne. She did this to herself. They found her the next morning. She had checked into a motel on the outskirts of town, using cash, probably the last of what she had stolen from me. When the cops arrived, she screamed, fought, denied everything. But when they pulled out the evidence, her own posts, her messages, the surveillance footage from my building, she cracked. And when they cuffed her, she turned her head, locking eyes with the nearest camera. Because, of course, Olivia had to make a scene. She always did. The trial was quick. Fraud. Grand larceny. Identity theft. A dozen charges stacked against her. She sat in court, her once perfect composure shattered. No designer clothes, no carefully crafted Instagram smile. Just a hollow-eyed woman in an orange jumpsuit, facing the one thing she had spent her whole life avoiding. Consequences. She didn't look at me. Not once. And when the judge read the verdict, she didn't cry. She just closed her eyes and let out a slow, shaky breath, like she had finally accepted that she had lost. The day she was sentenced, I walked out of the courthouse into the cold morning air. It should have felt like victory, but it didn't. There was no satisfaction in knowing someone I once loved had self-destructed. No relief in watching her crumble under the weight of her own lies. Just an emptiness, a hollow space where someone had been ripped away. Not Olivia. She had never really been mine to begin with, but the person I was before her. That version of me, gone. I took a deep breath, closed my eyes, and then, for the first time in a long time, I let go. Months passed, then a year. Olivia was sentenced to 5 years in prison, with a chance of parole after 3. I never visited, never wrote. She tried, though. Sent letters from behind bars, filled with empty apologies, desperate pleas, and, toward the end, bitter, cutting words. I never opened them, because Olivia was my past, and I was finally looking toward the future.